this, which is the center of all universe, says 1059.
1059, okay. Okay. I have filed a class action lawsuit seeking to invalidate the $47 million contract that the state illegally entered into for the Staars software. The Staars contract violated Alabama's competitive bid laws. We will explore in this lawsuit how the defendants manipulated the contract to evade competitive bid requirements. We will explore who manipulated this illegal contract. We will explore who benefited from this illegal contract. We will explore the dozens of ways in which the Staars software does not work. We will explore the probability that the state bought an off-the-shelf software program that was not appropriate and not a fit for Alabama's accounting needs. We will explore the damage which this failed software has caused and continues to cause to state agencies and thus to taxpayers. We ask that the Staars contract be voided. We ask for a return of money paid by the state of Alabama to the vendor of the Staars contract. The suit was filed Thursday at 4:13 p.m. in Circuit Court of Montgomery County. It was assigned to the courtroom of Circuit Judge William Shashey. With me to answer your legal questions are two of the attorneys who filed the case, Doyle Fuller and Susan Copeland of the Fuller and Copeland firm in Montgomery.
Can one of y'all explain how this contract was illegal, the way it was entered?
Yes, sir. When Mr. Zeigler asked us to take a look at this some time ago, we got back and refreshed our memory of what the competitive bid law was. And in simple terms, the best way to say it is this contract, which purports to be an amendment of a contract that was entered into in 1982, in fact is nothing but a new contract, buying new software, new systems to go along with it. And based on our research of the law and the facts, it's just absolutely no question this contract had to be competitively bid. If that answers your question, we simply, through considerable amount of research, came to the conclusion there was absolutely no justification for not bidding this contract through the competitive bid process. And as y'all may well know, under Alabama law, if the contract was required to be competitively bid and was not, then it's what the law calls void ab initio. That means it never happened. It's void from the beginning. That's what ab initio means. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, thanks.
So if it's voided, what's the next step from there? What would be?
Well, obviously, the judge is going to have to agree with it.
Right.
If he does, then as we view the law, the step is you return to status quo, as if it had never happened. In simple terms, what that would mean is the state would give the software back to the vendor, and whatever amount of money, and at this point we don't know exactly how much has been paid pursuant to that contract, they'd have to give that money back to the state. You just, and again, in simple terms, you just undo what's been done. And from what I've been hearing from different state agencies, that's not gonna hurt much because the STAR system's not working anyway. So, yes.
Mr. Zeigler, why did you decide, I mean, this system's been going in, has been in place for, I guess, what, 8, 9 months now. Why did you decide to bring the lawsuit now?
Can I answer that?
Could you let Attorney Fuller take a stab at that, and then if I'm not satisfied with his answer, I will.
Sure.
Well, Mr. Zeigler came to see us some time ago. I don't remember exactly when, but I know he's the same way we are, very cautious about making sure we're on good ground when we file any lawsuit. So it took us a while to study the situation, do the legal research the facts, and make a decision on whether this was a viable lawsuit or not. So I don't know exactly how long, but we've been looking into this on Mr. Zeigler's behalf for several months now. So it's not like this was just a decision was made yesterday to file a lawsuit. This has been going on for some time.
The primary implementation of the Staars software started on October 1st, the first day of this fiscal year. Since that time, I have informally heard complaint after complaint after complaint from various state agencies of problems. The Staars software did not work and is still not working to this day. Even this week, on Wednesday, I sat on 3 cases as a member of a Board of Adjustment in which one state agency could not get their bill paid by another state agency due to the failure of the Staars software. And the fiscal year and its 13th month available for paying bills ran out, and the state agencies had to file with the Board of Adjustment to be paid by the other state agencies. We had 6 state agencies involved. 3 couldn't get paid, 3 wanted to pay, tried to pay, and couldn't. Now this is no way to run a business.
So, if you don't mind me asking, what were those state agencies involved in this case?
Cut right there. You want the 3 payors or the 3 payees?
I would love to know both if I could, just to understand exactly who's having the difficulty.
Anybody else want a copy of this?
So what specifically in the software is failing to get money to these vendors? I mean, how is it failing?
It's out of my pay grade, it's fine. But in simple terms, when it comes to software and technology, I have to speak in simple terms. When state agency A gets an invoice, they want to pay it. It's processed through the Staars software, and the Staars software is supposed to authorize and coordinate and ultimately issue the payment. And state agency A enters invoice into the system. It doesn't do anything. It just doesn't complete the process.
And they can't get into the system, they
And a
can't
lot of
sign
times-
into
yeah,
the
a lot of
system.
times they can't even get into the system. Or some of the complaints we're hearing about. Now, from a technical standpoint, we've got some experts that will tell you why that's not working. But I don't
to get over the system that they had before?
Well, on the face of it, the explanation was that it was going to be a good system that was going to work and make the state government and its financial aspects far more efficient. It just didn't happen. Interestingly enough, I understand this is the same vendor that provided the failed software package for the implementation of Obamacare. You remember when they had all the problems with it? It didn't work right. Same folks. And may well be the same basic software package. I don't know that.
Is this being used by any other state government?
I found out this morning that West Virginia did it, I think in 2011, and they're already having problems and having to pay additional money than what they initially contracted for.
This, Bill Newton, when asked about this, he says, yes, there's been problems with this system, but it's good, but we're resolving the problems as they come up, and we're on schedule to have this fully implemented, and it's gonna be a major upgrade. He said, you know, problems are being fixed as we find them, and you know, we're taking care of this, and it's gonna be a good thing for the state. Is that what you're hearing, or are you hearing something different?
I'm hearing that the problems are continuing. Now, the Staars software has been implemented for 10 months, since October 1st, and they should have gotten any bugs out prior to October 1st, and certainly within the first quarter of the fiscal year. But it has not happened, and we saw even this week major problems in functionality that had to be taken up by the Board of Adjustment. And this was part of how I came to know about the serious dysfunction. As a statutory member of the Board of Adjustment, we have got hundreds of claims by vendors who do business with the state. They can't get paid. And if they don't get paid by a year, they have to file with the Board of Adjustment. And they haven't gotten paid with any of it because the Staars simply would not pay them, even though the agency, in most cases, wanted to pay their vendors. Now, this is no way to run a state government.
Now, getting back to the competitive bid, when this was pushed through, is this issue really more the fact that the software doesn't work, or is the reason that that there was something that was wrong here from the get-go with how they passed this piece of legislation?
Both. Right this month, the complaint that the attorneys filed yesterday is a one-issue complaint, violation of Alabama's competitive bid law. In the discovery process that is allowed in every civil suit, we expect to uncover and document dozens of examples. We already have that many of the software not working, not being appropriate software. It's not a fit for Alabama. And there's every possibility that we could amend the suit and add a second issue that the software doesn't work.
Do you believe that when lawmakers passing this is just an honest mistake that they did this, or do you think there was something more here?
Ask me that again in about 3 months after we've taken some depositions and done some interrogatory.
If I may, we at this point, we don't know if there was anything questionable about it. We're going to look into that, obviously, but at this point, as Mr. Zeigler said, it doesn't matter if the Staars program was running like a well-oiled Cadillac. It was illegally contracted. That's the big problem. And the fact that it's not functioning properly is a problem and will become an issue, but you don't violate the law of Alabama by having problems with your computer software. The law is violated in how you acquire that software. And as we know at this point, the way this ultimately got to where we are today, it started out with amendments of this 1982 software contract that, by the way, expired by its own terms in 1997. And yet, I mean, this contract is over, expired, been dead since 97. And they still attempted to use it, to amend it, to get into this new, what we understand is a $47 million contract. And again, I don't know exactly what the number is yet. But that's the big problem. It's just done incorrectly. It was done illegally. Now, was that done knowingly and willfully? I don't know yet. Time to tell.
Are taxpayers paying for this lawsuit? Is this something that your office is paying for?
No. No and no.
Who's paying for it?
Well, I paid the filing fee so far. Now, I don't mind mentioning that. We took this case on, number one, because we think it's wrong. What happened here is wrong. And the agreement we have with Mr. Zeigler is that if we prevail in this case, we will look to the court itself to make a decision of whether we will be paid or not, how much we will be paid, and from what source that pay will come. I'm going to prosecute this case whether we get paid or not, because it's wrong. What happened here. And it will be up to the court at the end of the day, if we prevail in this case, to decide whether we're paid for our services or not.
Where does the $47 million figure come from?
News media.
Okay.
I mean, we've seen articles where the state officials, Mr. Newton and the governor and others, have said it costs $47 million. I don't know it, and I've studied these contracts inside and out, and I can't get that figure. Sometimes I get more than that, sometimes I get less than that. We'll, through the discovery process, we'll find out exactly how much it's costing.
So what happens next in the lawsuit?
Well, the next step is the defendants will be served. They have 30 days from the time they're served to make an appearance, file a response to the lawsuit. Customarily, the first thing that happens, they'll file a motion to dismiss, and we'll have a bunch of hearings arguing about that. And sometimes those motions are granted. I don't think it will be in this one. Since this case has been brought as a taxpayer's class action, one of the first steps that will happen will be for the court to allow us, by rule, to address through discovery the class aspect of the case first, to decide whether it's going to proceed as a class action. And then if the court, regardless, if he says it's a class action or it's not a class action, Mr. Zeigler individually still has a right to go forward with the lawsuit, whether it's a class action or not. And then ultimately, sometime down the road, we'll get to hear on the merits in this case. Don't have any idea when that will be. Probably sometime after the first of the year.
What was the reason for pursuing it as a class action on behalf of taxpayers?
There are a number of reasons for that, but primarily from our viewpoint is to bring some finality to this. Because if it's not a class action, Mr. Zeigler can file this lawsuit. If the court rules against him, then you as a taxpayer can go over to Elmore County and file another. And, you know, we can just keep on and on and on. And out of fairness to the public and to the government, this needs to be brought into one case where it's all decided. Ultimately, the court's gonna say this contract's valid or it's not. And we move on. Without the class aspect, you can just have continuum, one lawsuit after another.
So forgive me, just a few minutes late. In addition to the costs served, the state auditor's standing is because he has a state office that's being required to use this.
Yes.
And that's the basis for his
Each
standing.
department, it pays their pro rata share,
Okay.
or gets billed for the pro rata share of the cost. We're not quite sure how that formula works, but it's prorated, depending on how much you use it.
Since standing is probably the first thing they have.
That's it. Who's got standing? Well, as a taxpayer, there's a statute that specifically says any taxpayer of the state of Alabama may bring an action to contest a contract that has been entered into in violation of competitive bid law. So your standing as a taxpayer is beyond question. But I think also, since he is a state auditor and his department is impacted by this, he's got standing too. But that'll be part of the motion to dismiss process.
How many claims have gone to Board of Adjustment because of lack of payment?
I don't know. I don't have that total, because when the claims come in, they're not marked. This is a Staars called claim. I have to figure that out. Over 300 since October 1st.
And those are bills that have gone and paid for a year, essentially?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
If they went beyond November 30th and they originated from the previous fiscal year, they can't be paid because they're beyond the 13th accounting period. So they won't necessarily be a year old. They would have,
From the previous year?
yes, they would have been in the previous fiscal year. And Staars wouldn't let them pay them even though they were trying. So they end up on my desk on the Board of Adjustment.
I read one news report, the Department of Transportation had something like 23,000 invoices that they couldn't pay. This was just a month ago. And that was something like 23,000.
That's January.
So it's a significant problem. But again, from my standpoint, as we stand here today, that's not a big issue in the case. It's a little bit matters. The state's got what they're bargaining for. We're concerned right now about how that bargain happened.
Well, we appreciate you. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go get a Chris's hot dog and go home.